Looks like, guys, we are live. What is going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. This is episode 158 of Breaking the Banks. I am terribly sorry about the last 2 weeks. We haven't been putting up Breaking the Banks videos, but everybody's been pretty busy with other things. And Ken was out last week, and then Madam B wasn't able to get on the video. So I went ahead and just went ahead and booked this special Breaking the Banks edition for today, which is the Aquaman spoiler discussion. For those who haven't seen it, go check out my review. It's fun. It's awesome. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm slightly sick. So you're going to hear me coughing and stuff, but hey, it is what it is. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into this. And hopefully Ken can... he should be joining us around about 8:30, so hopefully we can get him in on here as well to get his thoughts about Aquaman. But anyways, let's talk about Aquaman. Aquaman is one of the most highly anticipated films of 2018. I know it's 2019, but screw it, just go ahead and just talk about it. It's one of the most highly anticipated, not only movies of that year, but also superhero movies, and for several reasons. One being the DCEU. They wanted to see if the DCEU could kind of come back from what happened with Justice League. Mm-hmm. And also everybody wants to see if they could have made a really good Aquaman movie. So the movie had had some pretty big shoes to fill. And and I'm sorry, guys, I have Madam B with me right here.
Wow.
You didn't really say anything. You were just like standing there, like sitting there looking at me.
I said, mm-hmm.
Oh, that ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, well, they know I'm here. They feel my presence.
Oh, yes. Feel your aura. Okay. But what are your impressions of Aquaman? What were your impressions of it?
You should have started first.
No, you go ahead. You know the deal.
I know. I'm just... No, it's not bad. I was just, it took a few moments for me to get my eyes off his chest part for me to get into the movie. But my impressions of the movie is very good. I did like it. I enjoyed it. It had not that much humor, but a little bit. It just good enough to put it up in there and make it good. And Jason Momoa did play a very good Aquaman.
What did I say? I started that for a second. Yeah. I have to say, like I said in my review, one of the best movies of the year. I really enjoyed it. I gave it, I believe, a 5 out of 5. I don't hand those out too much. I don't. But the movie had a lot going for it, and it isn't a perfect movie. It does have its issues here and there. Mm-hmm. But I got thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very exciting. It was an interesting story. I liked the cast, the action. I mean, if there's two things that the movie did right were the action sequences and the visuals. Like, they knocked those out. But it's good that the film actually has layers to it because the acting did help it out. The performances were great. There was a fantastic cast. It was a pretty good direction. And just the movie just has so much going for it that just makes it completely awesome.
And one thing that I did like was, even though it has a big name cast, I didn't focus on them as much. I focused on the story and what was going on, not like Black Panther, because all I saw was the cast.
You know what we're gonna do one day? We're gonna do, there probably might be next Breaking the Banks, Black Panther film versus Aquaman. That's how much I hate Black Panther. I'm spiteful.
Okay.
I'm spiteful.
Anyway, you're just gonna take what I said and run with it.
Ran with it. But let's go ahead and just get into it. Now the film is what is it? The 6th installment of the DCEU after Justice League. The 3rd. Oh yeah, okay. So the film actually follows Arthur Curry, who's the heir of the underwater kingdom of Atlantis, who must step up to lead his people against his half-brother Orm, who seeks to unite the 7 underwater kingdoms against the surface world. And of course, Orm is actually Ocean Master. Did you see The Throne of Atlantis? The animated one?
No.
What I want to do also is do a comparison with that movie too. because Black Manta and Mira and Ocean Master are in that film too. So we got two versus videos, two head-to-heads coming with the Aquaman film. So that's good. So I'm actually, and I'm happy it hit $1 billion. Like it definitely deserved it. Like that's one thing I don't like about when people say that Marvel's better than DC. DC, and just take out the DCEU for instance. Just say DC. The DC films have been killing it. They have. The DCEU, if you want to say, they're not as good as the MCU films, but that's because the MCU films have taken a longer time to build up. They have had about 10 years, and the DCEU's taken on probably about 5.
Okay.
But DC, even before that, DC had some pretty good movies. The Dark Knight trilogy brought superheroes back as well. For all the stuff people were talking about, Superman Returns, it still did a good job at the box office. But so DC came back strong. DCEU is back. It is back, and I'm glad to see that this film made $1 billion. It definitely deserved it, and it's definitely going on my shelf with all them comic book movies I got. So, all right. So, what are the best aspects of this film to you? Like, what were some of the best things towards that you like? Wow.
I'm serious.
Wow.
It's not bad.
So this is what I want to say about the film. One, we get a really good incarnation of Aquaman. He was tough, he was edgy, he was funny. You actually cared about the character. You like seeing him and his relationships with all these other characters and how he relates to them. It's pretty cool. Like this, he has his rivalry with Orm. He has this rivalry with Black Manta. Of course, he has this. And I like the fact that with Mira, it wasn't a love interest like that. That's why that's one thing I did like about it. It wasn't like they looked at each other.
And he wasn't trying to hide who he was.
Yes, I really enjoyed that about his character. He was awesome. And I like that he does have a bit of a developing arc. And I did really appreciate that, because a lot of times in fact, to me, I know they all pretty much have really good development arcs. But anyways, Jason Momoa does kill it as Aquaman. The best version of Aquaman that I've seen. Next to the one from Throne of Atlantis, next to the one from the Justice League animated television show, the really big buff one with the beard and the full hair. Okay. Yeah, that's my jam. But he's the best Aquaman so far. I liked Mira. I thought Mira was pretty cool. I liked that she was a strong character, but she wasn't like trying to outdo him every other scene. I like that.
That's true.
I liked Ocean Master, and I liked the fact he had a good reason. Like the stuff he said made sense.
He wanted to kill him before he had a chance for the throne.
No, it wasn't really just that. I mean, it was that, but it's like actual motivation. He was like, well, the sulfur world is polluting our waters, so they gonna get what they get. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
That makes sense. Now, if you going about the way how you did it, yeah, because you could be like, yeah, okay, he's the bad guy, but at least he got an understandable motivation. That's like the best thing about him. He has a good motivation. He's actually a pretty cool character as well, because he's dealing with issues with in the aftermath. Oh, Ken's about to get on. He's dealing with the aftermath of what happened to their mom as well. Yeah. Honestly, I did not realize it was Patrick Wilson for like the first 10 minutes of him being on screen.
Really?
I swear, because he's one of the actors I couldn't see him in a movie like this. And it's good that he actually stepped out. That's another thing. Like him as well as Nichole Kidman, they stepped out and played a superhero movie. The last superhero movie Nichole Kidman ever played in was Batman Forever. But I can't remember who she played. I just remember she played in Batman Forever.
She was very good.
Yeah, she was really good. I don't know what it is about DC and making their moms like badass, but they do.
Right. come in and oh, I'm coming in and try to steal the show now. I like the way they actually fleshed out her character.
Yeah,
not overly Nichole Kidman. She went away from her.
And she was cool. Because think about in Wonder Woman, her mom was badass.
Yeah.
So I really, really, really hands down.
Ooh, superhero moms.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I sent Ken an invite. He should be jumping on. We need to talk about superhero moms too. That's a good idea. But what did you think about the whole Ocean Master versus Aquaman fight? Ken, you here?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, get on it, bro.
I was listening to the show. We were talking about badass moms, Nichole Kidman.
Booyah.
Yeah, she definitely did some major damage in that movie.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So what have I missed so far?
Oh, we were just giving our basic impressions of what we thought about the film. We was going down the line of performances, the version of Aquaman. I was going to go into the fights and action and stuff, but I guess that can wait for a second.
Oh, no, we can go right into fights. I love fights.
Yeah, the fights, hands down, were just awesome. I wanted to say they were unique because they were, but I was like, is it truly unique? Because if you think about it, in the fights, they were swimming really fast, but is it any different than if they were flying?
Not necessarily.
But it's still like a pretty cool setting that they were underwater.
Well, I'm curious. Is the one thing that the comic series I just can relate to? You know how most of the movie, when we saw the underwater scenes, for the very first part, we meet Orm and the king, the other Atlantean king, and all that. They're riding the seahorses or the sharks or something very similar type creatures.
Yeah,
which were really cool. They looked really cool. The seahorse things look freaking awesome.
Yeah,
but they were cruising around in underwater starships. You notice like the big command cruiser and all the other different races had their different styles of aquatic ships.
I've always thought that was weird. Not in just the movie, because if you go in the comics and stuff, it's like that too.
Yeah, they have the massive Atlantean army.
They have the ability to like swim underwater, but they also have like ships and stuff. And it's like,
yeah, because when she got into the ship, I thought it had like an air bubble in it, but then they opened it and there was no bubbles. So it just streamlined it to make it go fast underwater is all that did, but they were in water.
Oh, you like, what if the point is they already can swim?
Yeah, if they could breathe underwater. But I'm like, they got their technology. So
and stuff like that, but why do you need a massive carrier-looking device or these big monster ships or all that stuff? What's the scoop with that? I didn't quite understand that.
That's always been, because I've seen that when I was watching like the Justice League and stuff. Mm-hmm. I've always noticed that as well, and I was like, what is the? I think it Namor in
DC
Marvel's equivalent of Aquaman.
Yeah,
they're like that as well.
Yeah, the Atlanteans have always been technologically advanced. Remember, they did start on the surface and then get knocked down because they were doing stupid things, trying to be more powerful, and paid the price, basically sinking Atlantis. I mean, at least the last few movies that have come out that had Atlantis featured in it, that's exactly how it ended up.
It's an interesting dynamic as well, because if you look at the Injustice game, what are they in? They're in like a castle or something underwater, but it's got air in it and stuff.
Well, some of I think some of the areas, but remember also, if you remember in the movie, only like the true blood or true born in the hierarchy, like the queen, king, and those relatives are the only ones that can actually speak or inhale air.
Yeah, they can only one can survive on that. Yeah. But one thing I liked about that technology in that movie, how it was powered by water.
Yes.
Like the suits were powered by water, the weapons they had were powered by water. Even with like a Ocean Master, Black Manta with his suit, water.
It's just unlimited ammo.
So I was like, that's actually pretty cool.
I love Black Manta. I am so thrilled that they brought him in there.
I never liked the character until I watched this movie.
Oh man, I like it when he first run into him on the sub, you know, and he thinks he's Billy Badass, and then you know they try to jack up Aquaman, and he like beats the crap out of him.
Yes.
And then he tries to stab him with that blade in his hand, and he's like, "Ding! This is how you deal with him, son." Boom! Hits him with a grenade launcher.
I mean, but it was his fault though. Now.
Well, it was their fault, yeah.
Yes,
I mean, they were pirating a submarine.
But it was his fault, but you could still kind of see where their son was coming from. It's like, yes, my dad tried to kill you, but like
be a human. Yeah, be a human about it. You know, you
like
you screwed up. I'm out of here. I got beer to drink. And I think that's where he learned some humility at that point later on, because when they came back to everything that was going on, he's like, look, I had the chance to save his dad, and I was kind of a dick about it. You know, and he died. Well, did he do it? Yeah, but, you know, still, I should have.
Yeah.
You know, and he learned that lesson. And then when he was being challenged by, and I cannot think of the creature's name for the king, the old king,
I'm
to
gonna
get the trident. Yeah, the Kraken looking thing. That thing was badass too.
Yes.
I didn't realize how big it would be either, because we only saw a small portion of it in the initial encounter. We had no idea how massive that thing was.
I was telling Madam B, have you ever seen Clash of the Titans?
Yes. Which one? Old or new?
The remake.
Yes. That looked just like it almost.
Yes.
Very, very similar. Very similar. I mean, I would say add a few more arms, you know. Well, actually the Kraken had more human arms, but it had them long tendrils.
Yeah.
And the one in this one was more crabby like.
Yeah, more crab, like a big crab too.
And it was I don't know. I don't even know how to scale it, because we never really saw it per se, but what it did to the fleet.
It was one scene where it was like two scenes you saw the whole thing.
Well, you only saw like a little bit of it though. Like the little bit from the front. When he was coming in on it, he was quite small on that thing.
Yeah, it was pretty
he was
big.
Tiny. He was like a speck on that.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was him on there until like they got a close up of it.
Yeah, when they zoomed in and went, oh, okay. I didn't know what the heck was going on there.
Did you like that the one part where they had those creatures?
Oh, what do they call them? The dwellers?
What are things called?
Or the what do they call them?
The trench.
They call them something else, but the things from the trench, that was freaking crazy.
Yes.
Oh man, that whole scene was like intense.
And what was cool about it was it took on kind of a horror element.
Oh yeah, because I mean, them things were scary as hell anyway.
Yeah.
And then when you saw the sheer, I mean, you saw like one or twosies, and then it became tensies and twinsies, and then next thing you know, you see them and they're deep diving, and all you see is nothing but those things. I mean, there is nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nothing.
Is the trench what's the one part of the ocean like that ships?
The Marianas Trench.
The
deepest part.
Triangle. Is that what they meant? Like to the Atlanteans, would the Bermuda Triangle be the trench?
I don't think they really compared it to that.
Because
there were I think it was 7 kingdoms total. Atlantis, and then we saw a few of the other kingdoms, with the last one being basically the dwellers, the crab-looking creature people.
But this is why I asked the question, because if those things attack their boat,
that would explain a lot.
No, I was going to say, if they attack their boat, that means people have seen them,
but they didn't survive.
Yeah, so that's why I was like,
there's no way.
And that's why I was like, so is that to them is the trench the Bermuda Triangle, or is it some ocean area where like?
Well, it does mention the Bermuda Triangle when it says according to Aquaman, but the trench when that like Ken said were thrown into the Marianas Trench, so that's where they adapted all their powers and stuff like that.
So the Marianas Trench. Is that like a?
That's the deepest part of the ocean that we know about.
Okay, I guess that would make sense then.
I mean, if it was their equivalent to our equivalent of their trench people area would be the triangle, then that would explain all the weird crap that was going on, at least ship-wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's something to explore maybe in a later on, you know, all the rumors and hearsay of what happened. But, you know, because you had old Atlantis, the old Greek style, and then you had new Atlantis through the gate. And it was like, whoa. Wow, what have they done? I mean, it made the comics look weak.
Yeah.
And the scale of the new Atlantis city and
the
way how everything had gone.
That's awesome.
And I like their body armor too. The when they showed up, the first ones were in white, were like the honor guard, and then you had like the special mission guys were like the maroon ones that we saw with Black Mana, and then I think there was another one. I think there was some on Orm's ship that were. The style of armor was different, but I think that's because they were actually already underwater and they didn't require the face mask, basically their version of oxygen and a suit. Because he took out the one guy stuck his head in the toilet.
That was hilarious.
That was perfect.
So they can't breathe outside of water.
Most of the Atlanteans can't live outside of water.
Or royalty.
Okay.
Yeah, royalty and stuff like that can do. They can breathe, but they have to spit out or cough up all the water that's in them. And as strong as they are, too, because, I mean, they jumped out of a freaking plane and didn't even hurt them. Didn't even phase them. You know, redheads, what can I say? Huh?
And we were just saying, you know, like, DC came back strong. They came back strong. And that they hit that $1 billion mark, the movie deserves it.
Oh, I think they've gone further than that now.
Oh, they have.
I think the overseas venue blew it out of the water too. I think it's like the highest one of the for DC, it's the highest grossing one above Wonder Woman. And I think it went over, almost hit the 2 billion mark. Let me double check on that.
I don't think it got that quite that far.
I think they were talking some big numbers because I know it went over $1 billion.
I know it did hit $1 billion. I know it did go over $1 billion. If it got about $1.5 billion, I can see that.
Let's see here. Okay, so far, U.S. was 292 million. Overseas, it's just shot up to like 726 million. Currently, right now, it's sitting at about 1.1 billion so far.
Like I said, if we got to about $1.5 billion, I'd be good with that.
Yeah, here's the ranking. Wow, man, where is this? I've never seen this site, but this is really cool. Production budget was 160 million, so they made that times 2 already just in the U.S. and way over it. Currently, the movie stands right now as the number 3 biggest Warner Brothers movies release.
Mm-hmm.
The number 2 international movie release.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Anything else that's really significant? Number 6 for international superhero movie. That's really the most, and that's the big stats for it, basically. So, yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this because I was gonna do a video on this. 4 characters, and y'all tell me which one you like the most between Aquaman, Mera, Ocean Master, and Black Manta. Who's your favorite?
Ooh.
Oh, I'm gonna do a poll of this on the website too, and on my Instagram.
See, I'm a guy who likes the bad guys. I definitely like Black Manta when he showed up because I've always liked the character even in the comics. But then I really liked Aquaman and his style. I mean, the whole new, like, Aquaman's not a wuss anymore. You know, from the old Justice League and stuff on cartoons on Saturday, and they always made Aquaman like the wuss. And they always laughed at him and everything, and you know, basically he's like a little crybaby whiny butt. Whole new ball game, people. way new ball game with Aquaman in there. I mean, I just like his personality and style, but I mean, I'm really hard pressed. I'm kind of hard pressed to really say there's one that really stuck out. When I first saw the Black Manta, when he actually showed up in the Black Manta body armor and everything,
he looked cool,
and I was like, "Dang, right on! They hit that on the money." And then
with me, it's between Aquaman and Black Manta.
I really. Worm was okay, but I mean, he wasn't he wasn't jumping out. He's just the bad guy who's rich bad guy. But Black Manta had a motive. He wanted flat damn revenge. There was all he wanted. He didn't care about nothing else.
But this is what I was talking about, Man on B with. Reason why I liked Orm, because he did have a good motivation. Because to him, it was both a political one and it was a personal one.
Yeah, the trash in the seas not taking care of the stuff, and he dumped all the garbage back on the land.
Yeah, that was one. But then also he had this kind of rivalry with Arthur because of not only just like who's going to be on the throne, but also with that relationship with his mom.
Yeah.
So that's why I liked him too.
I mean, he had good depth, and I liked the style, and I liked the ideas, and I really like I say, I definitely jumped on the bandwagon, when they tidal waved and dumped all the garbage back, and you saw the cool. You saw, he goes, that was just a taste. That's not even the full power of what we can do. And they did that. And you're like, you want to take on the Atlantean army? Good luck. You're going to get smoked.
I love that line he said in the movie. He was like, I'm going to wage war on the surface world, and I'm going to bring the rage of the seven seas with me, or something like that.
Yep. When he got
that's a badass line.
No, when he's like, I'm getting rid of you all. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really liked him. I also like Willem Dafoe's character as a I can't think of his name at the moment. The trainer guy.
Yeah.
The Mr. Miyagi of the Atlantean world. I like the style because I like how they de-aged him and he was teaching Arthur how to fight and
that's what it says.
His background and stuff. And when they were introducing, you can breathe underwater, you can talk underwater, and you can see underwater. He was explaining to him, and you saw kind of what they saw through their vision.
Yeah.
When it showed the whole, depth, and then it just lit up, and it was like awesome. That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. And when they go to New Atlantis too is another one that's really cool. That stuck to me too.
Hell, I even and I can't, you can't leave out Atlanta. She was awesome.
Yeah,
like, the fights hand down with
she was pretty wicked.
They were, and then it with the chicks too. Like they were like very agile and stuff. Because think about it, when Atlanta fought the guards the first time, she was doing all the spins and stuff. But then when Mira turned around and fought him in Sydney, she was doing flips and stuff. And like who? And then what's even more surprising? The guy that directed this movie.
Yeah.
He directed like a bunch of horror movies. And
yes.
Like, you make that transition from those to this.
There was an article I think I saw today briefly. It was talking about, how that guy, the director, kind of pulled out the stops and did stuff that, because we've used to Zack Snyder in the DC world and, his turn on Batman, Superman, and, kind of like every other freaking movie. And this guy has completely never touched anything like this, and he comes in and throws down an awesome movie, visually, graphically, story, everything is top notch.
Yes,
I mean it's just like when Wonder Woman came out, and I can't think of her name at the moment, the lady who did the directing for that movie, put her own spin into it, and I mean it was phenomenal, just blown away. It made all the Zack Snyder and all them styled movies just look like garbage. I mean, it was just crazy how everything was so good, and I would like to see some more movies done. I mean, I know we know there's going to be an Aquaman 2, just simply off of the revenues alone on this movie. But I have a feeling he might come in there, and I hope they don't do it, but I don't mind a little bit that he comes in and carries on with some more other movies, and re-envisionment of maybe Batman or the Green Lantern Corps or some, any of the other movies that have not come out yet that we have not seen characters thereof. Like a Green Lantern Corps would be one of them I would like to see. And I think he would do a good job with that. If he's done this well with Aquaman, bring on Green Lantern. Bring on some of the obscure characters. Let's throw them out there and re-envision them and put them out there.
I ain't gonna hate on Zack Snyder because I think the guy has done a decent job. Now I will say there was some problems with Justice League, but Justice League got hit with like several big things all at once.
Yeah.
What happened was Zack Snyder, Josh Whedon coming in. They kept trying to trim the length of the movie, which hurt it too.
Oh, Josh.
Well, the original director, his kid died, and so he was out, and I think wasn't it who did they bring in to finish Justice League? Was it Snyder or the other guy?
No, Justice League. They brought in Josh Whedon.
Okay, yeah.
But I like the guy from Marvel that did the Avengers. They brought him in to finish Justice League. To me, Justice League, I still liked it. It's still one of my favorite superhero movies, even though it does have its issues, its problems. I'm not going to say the problems are as big as everybody makes them out to be, because there are a bunch of comic book movies where you have these team ensembles that don't have any movies leading up to them, but you still get to know the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way Marvel did it, when Marvel put like got the series out for all of their characters, and then they have a team up movie and stuff. Everybody now assumes if you're going to have a movie with a bunch of superheroes come together, you got to have a lead up to it. I'm like, no. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, The Losers. What was the other one?
Yeah, they all came like right out. Boom. I mean, you knew the stories. I mean, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, you knew the stories of the characters, but now we assemble them in a team that has never been done before. And so you get that dynamic and change. And I still love the Nautilus out of that movie, by the way. That's one of my favorite versions of the Nautilus so far. But we had Batman, Superman, Batman versus Superman, and then we get introduced to Wonder Woman briefly, and boom, Justice League. And all the Marvel side, we had pretty much everybody had their movie, and then we put them together in Infinity War and Avengers Civil War. We had already had separate movies for literally everybody that was in there in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, one way or another, there are groups that we could throw in there that don't need the background story.
And I kind of like the way I do like the way the DCU has done it, because I don't want to. Marvel has done the whole leading up to the thing.
They had a larger storyline, though. You got to think about that in the long run. But they knew Infinity War was their ultimate goal in Phase 4.
But we already know that what they're trying to lead up to, and this ain't even them trying to copy Marvel. This is like a DC thing. We already know what the DCEU is going to lead up to. Dark Side Invasion.
Dark Side Invasion or Crisis. Actually, no, I'm sorry, they're doing Crisis right now with the Arrow crossovers. Yeah. That's what they're doing right now.
So, but anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. Trying to finish on Aquaman. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about, but you get on Aquaman.
We could spin our wheels all night, but
one of my favorite fights from this movie. The Sydney fight was awesome, but I really liked the whole Orm versus Arthur fight when they in like the gladiator ring.
Oh yeah, that was pretty freaking sweet,
because it did showcase it showcased the whole them swimming and fighting thing.
Yeah, the Atlantean way of doing things. Mm-hmm. And I like how the Mr. Miyagi said, basically, you're fighting him on your territory now. Use it to your advantage, And basically, like when Orm took him on, he was taking him on in his own world, his own arena that he's never even fought in. So the rules are completely different.
What did you think about Atlantis?
I loved Atlantis. I was like, ooh, man. I liked old Atlantis. But when they went into the new city, I was like, wow. How massive. It kind of reminded me of, have you watched Krypton yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah. I won't relate to you, but, it basically they have old Krypton and new Krypton. And you had, like, the upper class city, the big, all the wealthy and all that are up high. And then you got kind of the scrubs down below that keep everything going.
Yeah.
That Atlantis kind of, they didn't harp on it too much. They just kind of showed it briefly, and then they went to the old pirate ship there. And so that's how, it kind of reminds me of Krypton and relates to Atlantis. But I still want to see them explore Atlantis a lot more. I want to know more about, the history and the technology and stuff that they, like the crazy guy at the end of the movie. I want to know more.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get a lot of dive into the Atlantean world, and I am very looking forward to seeing that.
This is one thing I really wish the movie kind of would have explored a little bit more. And I think it would have benefited the characters if they did. Maybe not put too much on it, but just enough to give us the back. I would have liked them to explore the backstory of Black Manta and Orm a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a big mystery. They left that wide open.
Because they showed you some what how Arthur grew up a little bit. Kind of do it where, okay, show us a scene or two here with Orm and Atlanta and see how their relationship is with them. Now I'm hoping they'll have those scenes in like the Blu-ray or DVD when they come out.
Yeah, so, there's some stuff they really need to
or director's cut or something.
Yeah, they definitely need to add a lot of goodies. Because like I say, that Black Manta and where's that relationship? How was that established? How did it come across? I mean, did they run into the Atlanteans by mistake? While they're cruising around, or what's the deal?
His dad.
Yeah, like his relationship with his dad, how he got inducted into what his dad was doing.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, how they met.
Yeah.
Also, give us a bit of backstory, a little bit with Mira too. What is Mira's relationship with Orm as they're growing up? Were they like really cool, and then he just kind of started becoming a jackass when they got older?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way it sounded like in the way the movie was going.
Yeah. Like I would have liked to see a little bit tidbits on that to kind of because it's always a pretty well-rounded cast, but you kind of want to see a little bit about where they're coming from when they grew up. So I would have liked to see that. So hopefully that they will put those little tidbits in either in a director's cut or just additional scenes in like when they release it on DVD and stuff.
Yeah, stuff they cut out to make it for time. I mean, still was almost 2.5 hour movie, and it didn't even seem like it. I mean, I could have gone like another hour. Yeah,
there was one scene in the movie that kind of happened, and I felt like they jumped, and I was like, okay, how did they get out that situation? That was the part where they were in the desert and they found they found what they were looking for.
Yeah, the old Atlantis.
The old.
Oh, and how did they get back to
Atlantis? Exactly?
How did they get back to Sydney? Because that's where they went to next.
Yep. How that happened?
It's like, okay, they're like
movie magic, my friend, movie magic.
Like, how did they do that?
It's all movie magic.
but I was like, gosh, how did they? Was there like a river down there? But I'm like, what? Didn't it dry up? But I'm like, it couldn't have completely dried up. So maybe it was some water at the bottom and they swam out.
Oh, so when they found the scroll, they had the scroll, they put it up in there.
And they got the bottle, and then they took the bottle to Sydney.
Okay.
Sicily. Why keep saying Sydney? I think it's Sicily. And you have to forgive me because this whatever this is got me backed up. So
it had me on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Sicily. Why keep saying Sydney?
They were close, Sydney, Sicily. Yeah, that's good. They can swim underwater like freaking like torpedoes. I mean, they can warp speed across.
Like that right there. When they introduced it in and I think no, it was one show that introduced that concept, and it was in you ever see Smallville, their version of Aquaman?
I think I remember seeing a little bit of it. I've never watched a complete episode. Wasn't it more like Aqualad, not necessarily Aquaman?
No, it was Aquaman. I mean,
okay, it was.
But that's how they swim. Yeah, that's how he swam in that show.
Like them torpedoes.
Yeah, he flew because it was even a moment where him and Clark, they were fighting underwater. And also he could kind of manipulate water a little bit because he was throwing like water balls at him and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that was badass. I kind of wanted to see that here, but I was like, okay, maybe.
Well, we saw a little bit of that in Justice League when they're down in the tubes there.
Yeah,
and the water comes and he puts the trident down and the water forces out. But I mean, he doesn't have a long endurance of it, but he had that ability to do that.
And also,
not like Mira. Mira's is like a very different
she's really
form of water manipulation.
I like visually, this movie hands down is one of the best of the year. And
easily,
one of the best scenes in the movie is, remember when he was driving with his dad, and then the tidal wave hit the car and he got thrown out.
Yep, and all the crap, and he was
trying to fly through all of this debris and stuff, trying to find his dad's truck.
Yeah,
yep.
I was like, that's tight. That is off the chain. I was like, how did they, like, the camera angles are it's just crazy stupid.
That's what was so cool about this movie, because I mean, you had 360-degree manipulation, you know, and through all that mess, through all that, you know, water and crap and debris all being thrown, even stuff he broke in half. Like, I think he hit like a telephone pole, punched through a car, and some other junk as he's trying to find his dad. And then Mira gets in there and manipulates the water and puts a bubble around him until it subsides. The part where they're in Sicily when she gets the bottled wine.
Oh, yeah.
Daggers.
Bottled wine.
Yeah, and turns them into daggers. Or ice shards, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to say. But yeah, she screwed that dude up with the ice shards.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, what? She can make them solid even better. Very cool.
Man, I have to go. I'll talk to you later. I'm sorry, you guys.
That's okay.
Work is going to be calling in a few hours.
Oh, yuck.
She got to go work super, super early.
I feel your pain. I'm still waiting for a shipment of stuff I asked for that was supposed to be here like 11 o'clock today, and it's going on 9 o'clock, and it's still not here yet. I keep hearing, we'll be there, we'll be there, we'll be there. So maybe I'll see it.
Hope you get it.
Have a good day at work. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on my phone, and you know they were supposed to have been here already, so I am talking till they show up.
I am glad to see that they did. Of course, they are of course bringing back Black Manta.
Oh yes, I was very thrilled about that. You know, I think that's the first DC movie that they've done an after.
You sure?
Well, they were supposed to do one in Superman versus Batman, but it was never put in the movie.
Oh.
But I think that's the first
think about it. I think I'm quite sure you're right.
I think that's the first DC movie, because I was getting ready to leave because I don't expect them in DC movies. And then it was like, no, you got to wait. I said, okay. And then that came, I was like, oh, yes. I can't wait.
That is completely badass, man. I really like the film. Well, I like the humor. I thought the humor was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And I liked it, like I'm saying earlier, I liked the fact that Mira and Arthur end up kind of coming into a relationship, but it didn't start off with them like googly eyeing each other the whole time.
She was there because I have a mission to save my city, my world, and you're the key to fixing it. Now come with me.
and eventually it developed. I don't like it when they like look at each other and it's a love at first sight, and then halfway through the movie they love each other. It's like, no. And like I said, this movie started out them not even interested in each other. And by the end of the movie, there's a relationship, there's that attraction and relationship with each other.
Yeah, they developed it. It's still not quite there, but they've got the seeds of growing. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And I like the fact too that the Queen came back.
I like how she came back. It was pretty cool.
You know, he's still out there waiting for you. Every day he goes out there waiting for you. And of course, everybody's like, everybody slobbering and snot nosing and everything. But yeah, that was really cool though. I mean, that whole movie was, I felt so well balanced with the movie between the humor, the seriousness, the action and the lulls, the storyline and how things were going, the shock, you know, the creepiness of the dwellers, you know, and just the sheer volume of them. I mean, that was like, oh my God, there's that many of them.
Let me
And
ask you this, man. Do you think that the story was overly convoluted?
no, I mean it was pretty cut and dry what was going to happen. I think that again we found the little spaces of pockets that don't quite have answers yet that could come up later as to you know fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
Like we saw most of Arthur's generalized upbringing. We didn't see a lot of the Atlantean side of what's been going on. It's kind of shrouded. We don't know how Manta and Orm even met, or even how that relationship got formed, which is a very interesting thing to me because Atlanteans didn't like surface dwellers at all, and they usually kill them and spawn to spot. So something happened to either impress Orm or wheel and deal. Whatever the story is, there's something there that's worth exploring a little bit. We have of course we have the man out of his zone. I mean, Arthur going down to Atlantis, never even seen the city, and walking into being challenged for his position. There's a lot of stuff there that they could have dove into more, but I think, they kind of took the option to say, okay, we'll leave it. We'll let people like you figure that out, and we'll be able to explain it later in the second movie. But, for overall, I think they did a fairly good coverage. It didn't feel like it was too rushed at points.
Yeah.
Like point A to point B real quick, zip, 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 zip. We got a little bit of everything. And then, like Myrna learning to like the surface a little bit more than she did. The not being so up against humanity as a whole. The humor, like when he, took a whale and took a ride home.
That was pretty cool.
That was funny.
I like how they brought that whole talking to fishes thing into it. Because people have always made fun of Aquaman for that. And then they made it badass in this movie.
Well, see, that's the thing, and I think that the original king, or the king that they, got the trident from, I think he had the same gift. Because if you remember, the Kraken said, "No one has talked to me since," and she said the king.
Yep.
And I think that he had that gift, and until somebody who had that gift, I bet he was a hybrid. He probably was a hybrid. Or possibly. I mean, he was on the surface before it went underwater anyway, but, that I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Something I picked up on, I was like, no one has talked to me like that since. So I'm very intrigued by that. But I don't think it was rapid or convoluted. I mean, we kind of had, the basic premise of Orm's thoughts, Arthur's thoughts, Mira's thoughts. Each is a little bit different version. Orm's tired of the surface people ruining it. He just wants to get rid of them. Arthur, really doesn't want to be there, but in order to, set things right, and they went after his dad, basically, personal. It's a personal thing now.
Yeah.
And his mom, they killed his mom. So it's a personal thing again. And Mira is just trying to prevent her world from going crazy and going into war that really doesn't need to be. Each had a little piece of the puzzle, and each developed.
You, man. I said, I never liked Dolph Lundgren. Never. None of and I actually liked him in this movie.
Yeah, as brief as he was, though.
I think that's why, because he got some screen time, but it was
because I said that looks like Dolph Lundgren. Holy crap! It is Dolph Lundgren. They put him underwater to make him look so young.
We got Patrick Wilson. I didn't recognize him at first because you don't see him in stuff like this. But then when I found out who the director was, Patrick Wilson has been in at least 3 of his movies.
Oh, he's pulling a Johnny Depp / Tim Burton moment.
So I was like, okay, I can see why.
I really just everything in the movie was great. I have no complaints really. And anything that I do come up with, again, it could be tied into something else later. It may be on an extended DVD. You know, I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I was super hyped when it first was coming out, and I was even more super hyped when it finally got to see it.
That's why I told Madam B I want to make 2 videos, and they'll probably be head-to-head videos. One of them is going to be Black Panther versus the Aquaman film, the films,
Mm-hmm.
and then one's going to be Aquaman versus the Throne of Atlantis film.
I haven't seen Throne of Atlantis. Is that animated?
Yeah, you know Justice League War.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the film right after that one.
Oh.
And it dives in the whole thing about Aquaman, and that representation of Aquaman and Black Manta, Ocean Master, and Mirror was pretty cool too.
I may have to explore this on one of my days off. Yeah, I've always enjoyed like stories with Atlantis in it anyway. It's just there's just that mystique of Atlantis and being, you know, mentioned in actual history from Plato and Hippocrates and all these, you know, famous people, and the technology that they supposedly had well above most normal people at the time. And that leaves such mysticism in the stories that you're like, what did they really have? What were they really like? What was, you know, and they could play into that so well, you know, and we have the people of Atlantis survived eventually through some type of adaptation or through technology. And I just eat it up. You know, when Disney put out Atlantis, the movie, which was really, really cool, one of my favorite Disney movies, you know, it's always there. Sweet. But I definitely have to check this out, though. Oh, man. You know, since you've been talking with your snot nose, my snot nose has been coming back. This is not cool. I got drugs somewhere to take care of this. Or maybe it was the tacos I was eating that had a little spicy to them.
I kept making taco salad like 3 days straight. I was eating the hell out of them.
Hey, you want to know how to get rid of a cold and sinus? One of the guys I was working with was getting the snot crud when he went to the Korean place, and he got this hot and spicy soup. Man, it knocked his stuff right out. He ain't coughed, wheezed, sneezed, ached, fevered, nothing in like 4 days now. I mean, that knocked it out.
I think about cooking a pot of noodles or some chicken soup or something.
Garlic and ginger soup is really good for that. The garlic's a good antibacterial, and the ginger helps soothe your throat.
Oh, cool.
Ancient Chinese secret. You learn lots of stuff in Asian cultures, and that stuff is kick ass. Put a little spice in it too to help you out. Knock it right out.
So, all right, if you could rank this, what would you give it?
What are we gonna go with?
I in my initial review of it, I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yep, hands down. Not even a blink of my eye. I put this on par definitely with Wonder Woman. In fact, I probably think it a little bit better than Wonder Woman. But I like both movies just as well.
In fact,
out of all the DC movies right now, I would probably say, well, it's definitely above Justice League for me personally. Just, you know, I like Justice League, but there were some things in Justice League I didn't quite groove with.
Yeah.
But overall, I think, you know, at least Wonder Woman and Aquaman can tie just above Justice League in the DC world. But yes, excellent movie. Excellent movie. Totally loved it.
Yeah. 5 out of 5 over here. I'm not sure. Matt will be with the bed, so I ain't gonna try to wake up. Even though
you'll give it a 5 out of 5 too.
Yeah.
If not, we will make her do it.
So, any final thoughts though, man?
I highly recommend the movie. In fact, I plan on going to see it again soon. I want to go see it in IMAX. Ooh, we should go to see it in IMAX.
Do they have this movie out in 3D?
I don't think so. I think they do have an IMAX though. I think it was actually filmed in IMAX. That's
surprising. Things that they should.
There are some stuff that would have been really cool to see it. Hold on, you know, I could be lying to you. Uno momento, por favor.
I'm about to say, because they put out movies that shouldn't be in 3D in 3D, and movies that should be in 3D ain't in 3D.
Oh, my friend, guess what?
They have it?
There's an Aquaman 3D.
Oh, snap.
Ooh, yeah. Is there anywhere near here that has it? Not at the moment. Poop. Oh, is the IMAX 3D? What? There's a 3D movie. The theater in Slidell is a 3D IMAX. I'm gonna look into it. We may be taking a field trip. We're going to Slidell and we're gonna go see Aquaman in IMAX 3D because that will be awesome. Oh man, I love IMAX movies anyway, but dang, that'd be freaking awesome. I'll work on that. We'll find a day off and we'll go.
I would not mind. I would thoroughly enjoy that.
I'll drive. You're not gonna go no movie hour inside of. Oh yes, I am. You watch me.
But
yeah, totally 2 thumbs up, 5 out of 5. It's rocking.
Yeah, check the movie out. Quit playing. Go see it.
Yeah, go see it while it's still in the theater because you'll kick your ass if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I've missed a couple movies that I wish I had seen in a theater, and the TV does not do it justice. This movie you really need to see on a big screen, preferably IMAX. But if you don't, go see it in a regular theater with a good screen. You will not go wrong.
So, with that being said, guess we'll go ahead and close out. I'm still going to do those head-to-head. So, y'all watch out for those, and hopefully we can get together Friday. So, try to get that going, Ken, because I really would like to see your input. I'm gonna try my best not to talk down about Black Panther so much, but
oh no, Black Panther was good. It had its,
I can say I'm not saying it's a terrible movie.
No, I was a nice change.
Yeah,
but if you're going to see it for the wrong reason because it has an all-black cast, you're stupid. If you want to go see a good movie, go see the movie and enjoy it. Don't worry about who's in it. Just go enjoy it.
Because I did a video where I compared the first Thor movie to Aquaman.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna do the same thing with Black Panther and Aquaman.
Well, they do have a very similar storyline, ironically.
Yeah.
Because you have Wakanda, a hidden technology, behind the scenes, staying out of everybody's business, and you have Atlantis that's been submerged for several thousand years. And they have advanced technology. Yeah, that is a very good correlation.
Okay.
Very good correlation.
But we'll leave it at that then, guys. Y'all stick around. Not stick around, but y'all stay tuned for that. We're gonna have those videos uploaded for y'all. Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get us the best of what's going on this channel, guys. Also, in the comment section below, tell us if you like the movie, did you not like the movie, who was your favorite character, what was your favorite scene, and we'll definitely catch you guys later. Narik and crew are signing out.
Peace, love, and chicken grease, people.